Bros, Evo bros. What do I call the Mitsubishi guys? Evo dirt balls. I'm gonna get you Evo guys up to standard here, get you cleaned up a little bit. So this is a 2005 Evo 8. I just got it. I guess this is technically the second video I've made on the thing. It needs a decon, so it needs a decon, needs a polish. But this car is 1,947 miles, has never seen any elements. I don't think it's ever seen rain, certainly not snow. But it's basically brand new. So it's so new that I have to change the tires, even though the tires have virtually no miles on them because there are probably some flat spots. I'm changing all the fluids and all that stuff. But what we're gonna do here today, it's about 4.5 degrees shy of 1 billion out here right now, and so we're gonna do this fast. But I'm going to do a decon wash with Obsessed Garage Decon soap, which is a higher detergent, higher surfactant, slightly higher pH. It's designed to strip if there's any like detail sealant or anything on here. I doubt there's gonna be much on the surface. And then we're gonna do the iron removing. This is a product called P&S, what do they call it? Iron Buster, which is a sodium thioglycolate solution that'll remove any embedded iron minerals or iron that could be embedded in the paint. We'll see if there's anything on there, and then we'll pull it inside and get moving on the second step. So when you're decontaminating, I think of it as 3 steps. You have your decon wash. We need to wash it first. Then we need to remove the iron, which is the chemical part of the decontamination process. And then we have the abrasive part, which is the clay bar or auto scrub, which we're going to show you here in a minute. But before I start, I'm going to rinse it off, and then we'll go and do the decon soap. So this sucker is supposed to be my beater car. I'm not very good at the beater part. I'm sure there's some nice Evos out there. This one's gonna be up there, especially after I'm done with it. So what I'm planning to do on this car, I'm gonna get a package together, and so when I polish this thing in the coming weeks, I'll show you a little bit more. You know, I'm always showing you like the best of the best stuff, but we need some progressive stuff in the polishing realm, because polishing can get expensive tool-wise. So if you bought a gallon of decon soap, it'll probably last you for several years. And so what I have in my foam cannon here, for those of you that are new here, I've got I always go a little extra, so I've got about 300 milliliters of soap in the 1,000 milliliter foam cannon. I turn it all the way up. Now I'm cheating here a little bit because I've got a monster pressure washer. But you can do this with a cheap basic entry-level pressure washer as well. So I'm not going to do the wheels because the wheels are going to come off. So I'm not going to worry about decontaminating or messing with the wheels. So I kind of messed up here. We'll save some soap. I got a lot of soap. I should have done the engine bay first. Because this thing is so clean, the engine bay is so clean anyway, we'll do it after we decon the exterior here. But normally you'd want to address the engine bay first. I'm not even going to need to agitate in the engine bay. It's more just dust, because this car has been basically museum kept, air conditioned kept its whole life. So I'm not going to need to do anything major to address the engine bay. So then I have the same decon soap in my bucket with a credit pad, and we're just gonna wash it like normal. It's not bad. I would wager to say this car's never been polished. It's probably likely been wiped down a lot with like a detail spray or like a California duster. It does have some marring to the surface, but I tell you, this car is in better shape than my my brand new paint to sample Brewster Touring GT3 or GT3 Touring. So this is kind of a nice experience. There's no real serious embedded contamination. The most I noticed on the surface was some like rainwater spotting, and shoot, that might come right off with the basic wash. I'm using filtered deionized water here with our prototype deionization system. So we don't have to worry as much about the sun that's on the side here. But I do want to do this with some haste. This car's even better than I thought, man. It's clean. I'm glad though, because this car is a, you know, nobody wants a stock Evo. It's like when people are giving me a hard time about stock, like even my Civic stock. Who the heck wants a stock Honda Civic? That's like, you might as well sentence me to death. I don't want this car stock. But what I love to do, so the cool thing about this, because it's so highly modifiable and there's so many cool parts of these, I didn't want to buy one that I had to restore the stock form. So this car, really all I have to do is do fluids, you know, exterior cleanup, just to dial the paint in. I have to decide if I'm going to do paint protection film on this or not. I'm thinking not. I don't know though. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Should I be paint protection? Should I do PPF on this thing? Is it worth $7,500, $8,000 on a $75,000 car? I don't know. So I'm struggling here because I kind of want to polish it, but I really should wait until we do all the modifications. The only thing I'm thinking is that, you know, I'm really not going to be touching the paint like on any of the modification stuff. I mean, we'll do the bumpers, the front and rear bumpers. I'm doing JDM rear bumper, and I'm doing an Evo 9 front bumper. I'm not sure. The clay bar part, I don't know how unnecessary it's going to be. So if you think about process-wise how this works, so I want to get anything off the surface I can. If the car was coated, this part of the decon really isn't doing a whole heck of a lot to remove. It's certainly not removing a coating. But this will help put a dent in a wax or a sealant. There's probably, again, I would guess, there's probably maybe a little residual detail spray, so, you know, waxes or something that's on the surface here from the car being wiped down at the dealership that I'm probably removing. The key is when you're polishing, you want to try to get it to where the surface is as clean and devoid of extra stuff as possible. certainly if there isn't iron embedded in the surface of the paint, we certainly want to get the iron out of it or off, removed. Last thing you want is a little particle of iron to get dislodged and then scratch the crap out of your paint. There's definitely nothing on this. There's no wax, nothing. Water's just sitting flat. But it's not super crunchy, so the water's not sitting as flat as it would if the car had all kinds of surface contamination. All right, so the next step is the chemical removal. So normally I would use a normal little spray bottle like this. But we've got our new, this is the newest version. So this is a press-all dual action. So not bad, not a bad experience. It's pretty windy out here today. Or I've got a battery-powered version, which makes it way better. So with this, I want to spray it on the surface. Oh yeah, this is nice. That's cool. So this is a lithium-ion battery. So we want to get this on all the surface. Let it chemically break down any iron in the paint that may be embedded, which I doubt there's going to be very much if there is any. And then we'll just spray it off. I just don't like to use, like, pump sprayers use so much more product than a hand sprayer like this would. Let's see here. Do you see any purple? Oh yeah. I mean, it's so bright out. There's quite a bit of iron in this. This is good. Man. Yep. This is a worthwhile exercise. See that? Running down there. See, I used probably 600 or 700 milliliters of product. If I had used the pump sprayer, I would have used at least double that, which would be unnecessary. So this part matters. You know, you want to do a really solid rinsing to get all this crap off the car if you can. What? Okay, now I'm going to pull it in. Oh, first let's do the engine bay. I keep forgetting. This thing is so clean that I keep forgetting to do stuff. So again, if you're following proper procedure, especially if your engine bay is dirty, you would want to get all kinds of tools and stuff out. I have some other videos on the channel of engine bay cleaning, like specific ones. You can check those out. But for this, I'm going to spray a little decon soap on here and then just... Actually, what I'm going to do... I'm going to grab some built amber. So normally engine bay, I would mix up and probably put I would hose the thing down with some all-purpose cleaner, or put some all-purpose cleaner in my foam cannon. This is quite a bit gentler than a all-purpose cleaner. But this engine bay it's more dusty than it is. There's not a bunch of grease and grime on it like you would normally have, because this has been a showroom car, collector car. So I think this will do well for me. And so this you would want to spray on before. So if your car was super dirty and nasty, you'd want to do this first, but because the engine bay is not super dirty, it's not a big deal. Let that sit for a few minutes. You know, you just got to be careful. You know, the intake box will have a drain on the bottom of it. You just don't want to shoot water straight up in there if you can help it. So come straight down. Everything else will be fine. Think about it like, you know, Jeeps can go up to, you know, Jeeps with snorkels. They drive it, and the whole freaking thing is fully submerged. So if this was dirty and grimy, I'd be agitating. I would have hit it with all-purpose cleaner. I'd be, you know, cleaning the surface. I mean, that's what all you Evo guys need to do. I mean, screw all your turbos and all that nonsense. Like, clean the car. Like, clean all these jams out, and like, you'll feel so much better about your life. Clean all this up here. Just really dig in, get your car clean before you do anything. That's the part I don't understand. I've been watching all these Evo videos, and all these young guys are just filthy. Everything's dirty. Like, just freaking clean it. It's not that hard. I mean, we're what, 15 minutes in here, 20 minutes in? This is all it takes. 50 bucks worth of product. You don't even need all this fancy crap. You can do it even simpler. So you want to let that sit until it starts to kind of dry up here. Let it sit another minute or so. But I mean, that I think could be the biggest difference in, you know, in most of the Evos that are out there is, you know, all the door jams, trunk jams, all these jams in the engine bay, cleaning up all of your reservoir tanks and all of this stuff. You know, just get it clean. Once you get it clean once, it's really easy to keep clean. Just every time you wash the car, pop the hood, just wipe it down, and you don't need to put any product or anything in there specifically. Just a really, really simple thing to do. It can make a huge difference. Now, whatever you do, if it comes in an aerosol can, don't frickin' spray it. You know, like they have those engine dressing things. Don't ever spray any of that crap anywhere near the engine bay. The only product you should use would be hyper dressing. I'm not gonna do it on this now. I'll do it later because we're gonna be doing all kinds of work in here, and I don't want it being too slippery. But yeah, don't use anything that has a, you know, that aerosolized engine bay dressing stuff will frickin' ruin, and you can never get it off. Ask me how I know. Actually, still got a little soap here to get off. Really clean. Just frickin' stay here for 1 second. Oh, god dang. So, again, if this was super dirty, I just spent all the time cleaning it off. I know it gets all over the place. So that's why you should do the engine bay first. But do as I say, not as I do. All right, now it's ready. Ooh, it's already pretty slick. It's ready for manual decontamination. Should I just do it right now? Let's just do it out here. I'm gonna frickin' toughen up. It only gonna take me 10 minutes. All right, so we're just gonna do the claying out here. I'm gonna have Mike help me do this. We'll knock it out in 10 minutes. So this is a part of the process that I used to spend hours and hours on with a clay bar, doing every square inch. That's not what this part is about. You're not polishing here. We're getting the surface completely contaminant free now by manually using an abrasive. Now we're going to use a lubricant to make the abrasive a little less abrasive. And there's a bunch of different things we can do. I want to try this out. This is the new Rag Company clay sponge, which is kind of interesting. It has like a grippy same kind of rubbery finish on the sponge. We're going to try that. My normal process would be to use a combination of the NanoSkin auto scrub. So you have this, which you could put on a machine, which kind of sucks. You don't want to do that. Just get the hand strap. And so the combination of this normally does the job for me. If this was really, really nasty, which it's not, I would, like if you have a car that has lots of contamination that you can feel in your hand, you would use an actual piece of clay, which we're not going to need for this car. So what I have in my bottle here is McKee's N914 diluted 128:1. So in a 750 milliliter bottle, I've got about 6 milliliters of N914 diluted with filtered water. So all I'm going to do is take these products and we're going to spray the surface. Now, I always break these in, especially if it's a new one. Do the glass first. So I want to break it in on the glass. You can't use too much lubricant. Oh yeah, I like this sponge. You can go ahead, Mike. I'm not doing anything that special here. Just let me do, those are broken in, so. Yeah, oh boy, I'm gonna have to make a call to my bros. This is good. They like, Levi and Anthony, they really like the towels. I don't like the towels. They're too floppy. The cool thing about these products is if you drop it on the ground, you can just dunk it in the bucket and rinse it off. If you drop a piece of clay on the ground, you gotta throw it away. Plus, this will last, I mean, the one that Mike's using there is probably 3 years old. I've used it 25 times, maybe more. So on this car right now, this is more about peace of mind than it is. There's not a lot of contamination going on here. So this is kind of a exercise of unnecessity. You know, like this isn't a necessary thing to do, but like we could probably go right to polishing right now. Yeah, this is awesome. Is there a wiper blade delete on this thing, you think?
Yeah, you probably
it's gotta
just take
be.
it off with a plug there.
Yeah. We did this right in time, just before the rain. Makes the sun go down. This is great. Yeah, I mean, you can tell this thing was air conditioned, kept. All the seals are like brand new. All the trim. And it was probably undercover because it doesn't seem like it's been rubbed on a lot. Like they probably threw a car cover on it. Called it a day. Thing sat under there for 15 years until he sold it. To me. All that work. And guess what I'm gonna do? Why does it make me happier? Knowing. For me, it's about, I get the, this is like reliving an experience, you know, this is like a forbidden fruit. I get to go back in time. This actually worked out great. I'm glad I didn't. I was going to do this yesterday at like 4 p.m.
Did you do the roof already?
Yeah,
How about these? Either door.
no doors. It was like 97 and like 100% humidity. Yeah, this solidifies it. I'm building the frickin' indoor wash bay.
You did this fender,
Yeah,
so it's done. No bumper.
all I got is this door and that's it.
You did the smear.
Yep. So again, if the surface was more contaminated, I have to be more deliberate here. Whew. Done. Can you grab me the bottle of Atomac in there? It'll help with some of the rusting. Just gonna try to help the rotors out a little bit. It's probably not gonna do much, but help it out with rusting. These rotors will be leaving here. I'm gonna order some Giro discs, I think. First, I'm gonna call Steven Hines, and I think his name's Steven. Ask him about carbon ceramics for this. Shoot. Don't breathe it in. That's a wrap. All I'm gonna do is dry it off. So when I dry it, I don't wanna hit it with anything like I don't want to put anything on it. I want to keep it bare. So I'm just gonna blow it off and wipe it with a big bulk drying towel. But that's the decon process. Car's ready for me to decide if I'm gonna polish it. What I may do, and you should always polish it after you have using an abrasive. So even if you were just doing a finish polish, it needs to be done. I'm probably gonna do a 2-step likely on this. But it does, normally you would polish after this. So we'll be sure to shoot a video on that for you in the future. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more Evo content as I dial in a pretty already dialed in Evo 8. We'll see you in the next one.